Hello, salutations, and greetings! Welcome to the Up Supercast. I'm Will, the only podcast. Fuck it. Messed it up. Fine. Damn it. I wanted to try a new thing this week and I went too fast. Keep it all in. Hi.
We're keeping this?
We're keeping this in. We're doing it live, everybody. This is the Up Supercast, the only podcast. It's the only podcast on the internet where we're doing it live. I'm Will. Joining me this week, Brandon.
I don't know if I want to be associated with this fucking train wreck now.
Ills.
I fully accept that we suck.
And Muzamil.
I planned on asking when the hell we're gonna get a Popeyes sponsorship, but I don't think Popeyes is sponsoring us after this. This is a disaster.
What are you talking about? Popeyes loves this. Popeyes.
Alright. Someone get Popeyes on the line, because I want
Chick-fil-A doesn't. There's too much cursing for Chick-fil-A and too many people that are cool with gays. But Popeyes is fine with it.
So let's get a Popeye sponsorship. It's all I want, honestly.
Yeah.
That's why I joined the podcast, in hopes that one day we'd be big enough to get a Popeye sponsorship.
Wrong fucking place.
I'm going to break some news here as well. Popeyes is looking to break into the esports scene and wants to put a team together.
We are their men on the ground.
We are their esports team.
Come
Damn, nice.
Yeah, check us out. The games we're gonna play, we don't know, but we're gonna work backwards. But until then, while we're training up for whatever tournament we may participate in, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, man.
Pretty good, because I had some Popeyes trademark.
Yeah, like I want to go to Popeyes and get a fresh 2-piece chicken tender deal. You know, it would be good with some mashed potatoes. Hashtag not an ad. Hashtag could be an ad.
Some Cajun mashed potatoes and gravy. Mashed potatoes and Cajun gravy, I mean. Yeah.
No. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Popeyes is garbage. KFC.
Good. You know, literally right before we started this podcast, we said, why don't we have guests on? And then we do this for the first 2 minutes, and you're like, maybe that's why.
Have you ever listened to any other podcasts all about mattress firms and, like, underwear and, like...
Yeah, Omaha Steaks.
Yeah.
Dollar Shave Club.
So, like, this is
Raid Shadow Legend.
What?
By the way, all these people, I don't mean to insult you. You're welcome to sponsor us as well.
I mean,
yes, please. We're name dropping you so you could find us.
Yeah,
I'm not doing
the
it.
algorithms will know this that we said your name. But well, hey guys, you know what else are products? Video games. That's what a masterful transition. That is Roger Ebert smiling in his grave right now. This is as always. We're gonna talk about some video game news. We're gonna do the list. We're gonna do all that stuff. Let's just get to it. This week we got I would say an abnormal amount of game announcements or updates about games, but I don't know if any of them are particularly exciting. And so what I want to do
BTFO.
What I want to do is sort of say these 4 series we're going to talk about, they're all in weird spots. None of them are at the heights of what they were. Do they have a chance? Is sort of the question I want to ask after I introduce what they all are. How about that? So first up, we have the official announcement of a game that we knew was happening already that is coming out in 2 months. Need for Speed Heat.
Wow.
This is the 10th. I don't know. It's a lot. Need for Speed game, and like
more than that.
Probably
There's way more than 10, brother.
But either way, this is the 4th one, I think, that is based around the idea of you gotta run from the cops, bro. And so their main gimmick is that there's daytime and there's nighttime. And daytime, you're racing. Nighttime, you gotta look out for that dang old police. They only wake up at nighttime, apparently. Apparently they don't care about it during the day when people are actually awake. But either way, that's the thing. It's vaguely 80s inspired, but not really. Michelle Rodriguez is in the trailer because you've seen the Fast and the Furious movies.
Of course.
Does this game, do we think, have a chance? Because this series has been on a losing streak this entire generation, basically.
By the way, this is the 22nd Need for Speed game.
Jesus Cristo.
Which is not counting any mobile spin-offs either.
What about the movie? Is it counting the movie?
Yeah, I was just thinking about, when I heard about this game, I was not excited. But I also thought, man, if I was a YouTuber, I would just want to do like a Need for Speed retrospective video. I don't know why.
You can make a whole channel around it.
I don't think anybody's doing that.
And it's a long storied franchise. See, but to answer your question, though, I don't think it has a chance. I don't. Because this is like the fourth in a row that seems to not have learned any lessons. You know? Like, they're still doing the same style of game that they have for the last 4 games, like you mentioned, right? I mean, obviously, there's like very little marketing here, right? It's like, hey, it's out in 2 months.
Yeah, in 2 months, yeah.
Okay, why wasn't this at E3? You know,
why are you scared? It feels like you're scared.
Once again, it's another 2-year gap, which is what Need for Speed has been on, when they clearly need more time than that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years is a decent gap compared to some games. But,
sure, but like, I don't think you can make a proper HD game, especially one that needs a complete retooling in 2 years, you know? I mean, like, for example, Forza was on a 2-year span, right? Just now they took off 1 year for the first time, so now that, you know, it might release in 3, maybe 4 years. And Forza was doing great. Need for Speed needs a much bigger retooling, you know, than Forza did.
I don't know why they, in a day and age where a lot of companies are about retro pandering and trying to get back that audience they lost for franchises by doing that, like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Why have they just completely ignored Need for Speed Underground? Because ask somebody who likes, or at least liked Need for Speed at one point, and they will be like, Underground was my shit, you know? And I feel like that was just, I don't think it would be that hard, It doesn't even have to be a remake. It seems like
they think that the only way to sell this franchise is to try to make it like a Fast and Furious type thing,
Yeah.
Haven't they been doing that for a while now?
But they've been doing that for like, yes, and it's like not really, I don't know. Like, they need to re-examine what Need for Speed is, And I don't believe that this is the one. I don't. Yeah. I just don't.
Or they need to go full Fast and the Furious and throw in some fucking character action in there.
Maybe.
Yeah, right? Put some guns.
Do you remember Need for Speed The Run?
No.
Which was, it was like, here's a cannonball run. You're driving across the country, and there were parts where it's like you're finally getting out of the car, and it was entirely quick time events. So it was just your guy would be running, it would be like X, and you would like dodge a cop car that would drive by.
Good.
I mean, the first game that had the gimmick of the cops are after you came out in 2005, which was Most Wanted.
Pursuit. I love that.
Yeah,
game.
I think that this game is gonna sell like shit. It's gonna be shit.
You say 2005?
No, I was talking about Most Wanted, but Hot Pursuit also had the cop thing, the open world cop thing.
Hot Pursuit was like PlayStation 1.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like open world cop thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, can you explain to me, like, all right, so you said in the daytime you race, but in the nighttime you just run from the cops for 12 hours?
The press release just said during the nighttime you are prey for the police. So that's all they gave us.
You race, but there's police involved.
Okay.
Yeah, and they said that also like it doesn't change naturally. You have to go into the garage, choose make it nighttime, and then it becomes nighttime.
Why would you ever do that?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
I think the other thing is I feel like they're also kind of afraid to go like full on arcade racer,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what
it's lived in that middle space for a long time, right?
But it doesn't know what it wants to be, It's like am I an arcade racer? Am I like a realistic simulation? Am I,
Yeah. Need for Speed always used to be an arcade racer to me, at least from what I remember about it. Playing Hot Pursuit back on like PS1 and like Underground on GameCube, and like it felt very arcadey to me. It wasn't like a realistic type of thing.
Yeah, like nowadays.
Because I mean, I think that Forza is sort of the last one standing of racing games right now. Like Gran Turismo takes 5-year breaks, but both of those are still. Horizon's more arcadey. It's more open world, but it still has a lot of its roots in that simulation side of things. So that sort of arcadey side of racing game that isn't like Mario Kart has sort of fallen to the wayside in a big way. And the thing is, like, and this sort of speaks to the, like you said, with the identity crisis. While they're trying to figure this out, I always thought the thing with re-releases for racing games, for a lot of old games, is licensing music, right? Like, oh, you have to pay for those again, and that could be expensive.
Sure.
But Burnout Paradise came out last year, and that game never sold nearly as well as Need for Speed Underground did. And that's also an EA joint, so I truly don't understand, I mean,
that's also the single EA remaster we've gotten this entire generation.
Which is
weird.
Insane.
EA is very weird about remasters, and I think Burnout was kind of a test thing, and that didn't sell well, and they're just like, okay, we're just never doing remasters again. It's like,
Which is wild, because like
weird.
they have the Mass Effect trilogy right there.
I mean, we might have talked about this before, but like EA's thing with remasters is so weird because it's like it would be great for EA Access, right? They're all about trying to sell that subscription. What is better filler than fucking remasters? You know? And it's like the thing they've been so slow at releasing new games that, you know, just hire some external studios. Not from your own, don't take from your own internal resources, but just hire some external studios, do some quality control, and, you know, release some quality remasters to get some more games out every year, because it's like, they come out with like, what, 1-2 games every year, you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
it's pretty,
I mean, they bet their year on Anthem, and I mean,
that went
damn.
well.
been going good. So speaking of the head and him left BioWare this week, not much to say, but just that happened. So,
Sad trumpet noises.
the Price is Right one. The other EA game that got leaked is Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville is, I think, the code name or the name of the game that got leaked. And we got and we got a trailer for it. It is in the vein of the Garden Warfare games. I guess they thought that the parody aspect of the name Garden Warfare wore out its welcome, so they've rebranded it. But
Sure. So basically, it's the third one.
It looks like a
Yeah.
Garden Warfare game, though. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was an inspiration of
Yeah.
Were those games good? I never played one.
I loved the
Yes.
first one. I never played the second one, but I loved the first one.
Yeah, I played both, and they're really good. Yeah, me and you, Muzzy, we used to play that game a lot.
Yeah, we played it quite a bit, and we had a great time. It was a,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was.
Interesting.
You know, it came out before Overwatch. It did hero shooters before Overwatch. It was the real shoot flow.
that was it.
It's true.
Take that, Valve.
The originator.
I mean, I hope this game is cool. I mean, I skipped this. I can't even explain to you why I skipped the second one. To be honest, it just kind of came and went, and it was just.
I think a lot of people did, because one actually did pretty well, and then two I think had a big drop off in terms of sales.
which is weird because then it went multi-platform, but like
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there wasn't a very big gap between 1 and 2, from what I remember, in
Mhm.
terms of like.
Yeah, it
Maybe
might have came out like
a year,
super
if that.
quickly, and it was just like what. And it honestly, it kind of looked overwhelming in how much they added, which is a weird thing to say. But like, it was like there was a nice simplicity to Garden Warfare that I feel like the
Mhm.
second one, it just was like I don't even know what's going on anymore. You know?
That is a weird thing
Yeah,
to say.
maybe a bit.
I mean-
I still played it, and I thought it was still just as fun.
Yeah.
It's a good series.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that is a weird thing to say because you just said it looked the same. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, it was shooting on the same engine, right? Like, it was a thing that's like clear. I think it's interesting though, because I think it does touch on something which is PopCap, the people that are making it, right?
Right.
They sort of they made Plants vs Zombies, they made Bejeweled, they made Bookworm. If Peggle, if you played games on your computer that were like $5, or your mom played games on her computer, they were probably made by from PopCap if they were from the mid 2000s, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like this is a company that should, in the era of mobile gaming, be killing it, right? These are games that, like, they're good, right? Like, they're not bad games, they're not horrible cash-ins, and like I love the original Plants vs Zombies, right?
Hell yeah.
Same.
But like the games they put out this whole generation is Peggle 2, Plants vs Zombies 2, and this game, right? And like it feels so strange to me that like they were ahead of the curve on a lot of the type of things that help define mobile games, right? Very level-based, small, bite-sized, easy to access, and they
I
haven't
mean,
translated.
if you ever need proof that like you know EA buying out a studio is the death wish for that studio, I mean the PopCap, right? I mean there's so many examples, but like PopCap is a company that has no excuse not to be thriving in this day and age, you know. But like they stopped making new IPs completely, right? They've only relied on the Plants vs Zombies and Peggle licenses this gen, right?
Peggle 2.
And
Gotta jump in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Peggle, yeah, and it's just like they haven't done well. It's so like I don't know how Plants vs Zombies is not just killing it on mobile right now, you know. But like PVZ2 was very poorly received, and it's just like I don't know. It just PopCap. I mean, I hope this one. I like that they have them doing big old console games as well, right? And I hope this game is good. I also hope it's on Switch, but that's another.
Man, fucking Plants vs Zombies 2, man, that shit fell off a cliff. I don't understand why it didn't feel as good as the first game.
Yeah, Because I was really hyped for it, which is a weird thing to say about Plants vs Zombies game. But then I got like 3 worlds in, and I like stopped.
Yeah, same.
And that was the case for pretty much everyone. Like most of the casual audience played that game, and they were like, meh.
And it was free to play, so I don't know if they like made a bunch of money off microtransactions in the way that you think they would. Like,
I mean, I don't think they did because I think people fell off it because people were mad because it was too scummy. And like, you have to find a balance, right?
Yeah.
And PvZ
Yeah, because the first Plants vs Zombies was just you pay like what
you paid
10,
like
$5 or $10 for it, and then you get a full
pay
game.
once and you have forever. But you could make it work free to play, but they didn't. They did not find that balance, you know.
Yeah.
No,
And
not
like,
at all.
they're making a 3rd game, right, on mobile.
Yeah.
Soon. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but
the other
we'll
thing
see.
that I don't know about is that they've downsized like 3 times over this generation, right?
Yeah.
So they lost I think they were in 2010 before they got by EA. They had like 400 people, and I think they're now at like 250.
I mean, can you name an EA studio that's thriving right now?
Wait,
Yeah.
400 people? How many games were they putting out?
A lot.
They would do like 4 games a year.
It was stupid. Like they
Yeah.
were putting out game after game after game after game, and like, it was hit after hit too. You know, like even the smaller scale ones, like Bookworm or Insane Aquarium, even those games did stupid well.
Like Feeding
yeah.
Frenzy, right? We mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Zuma, that was one too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they were just putting out hit after hit, and then it's just like they just
I played Zoom.
EA bought them out, and it was just bloop, bloop.
Yeah.
And that's just like, I mean, you could say that's the case for Ghost games, making Need for Speed. You could, definitely say that for BioWare. It's just like,
It feels bad. I mean, we say it all the time. Like EA bad is like the coolest take in hot take in the entire world. But like,
but then when you lay it out, it's like, they're bad. Like,
and you win, and they have stuff that you care about, right? Like,
and they have like a
That's
treasure trove
yeah.
of IP. They really do. Just like so many franchises that people are passionate about and love and care for, and they're just going to waste. They're just nothing is happening with them.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
They're worse than Sega
yeah, in a lot of ways.
What a
in that
combination.
regards, at least.
Mhm.
They're worse than Sega in a lot of ways, but in that regards, they're still even worse.
Yeah.
The Genesis Mini, by the way, seems cool actually. So that's we didn't talk about that much because I don't think anybody's
Yeah.
bought it. But
I mean,
But that-
Sega does things right, but they sit on a lot of IPs that they could be doing stuff with.
Yeah.
Did that come out?
No,
Yeah, it's coming out next
September 16th or some shit.
Oh, okay. Because I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered it, but I don't know. I saw like a clip on YouTube that I thought somebody had it already. but
Yeah.
I want to get. I mean, dude, 42 games.
42
Like
games.
double the amount of like the fucking Super NES and like the same price.
Mhm.
But I feel like I played most of them already.
Yeah, I've played. The thing is with that thing, dude, I've like have a way to play like every game on that already.
Uh-huh.
But whatever, I'll probably buy it. I'm an idiot.
Same.
But moving away from EA, right? Because they did have those 2 things, right? Which once again, still where they were in E3, but whatever. We did get some stuff, a lot of like corporate changes and a meeting with THQ Nordic, which has been renamed because this was always a thing that confused people. THQ Nordic is a holding company that also includes the development studio THQ Nordic, which was the thing that confused people a lot. But they've I'm trying to think if this was they've changed their name. I forget what it was they've changed their name to be honest. But either way, they did announce a couple of things from people that are underneath them. One of which is Volition, who is most well known for the Saints Row games. Most recently made Agents of Mayhem, is now making a new Saints Row game, right? Which is exciting because Saints Row 4, I think people.
Sorry, THQ Nordic AB is now named the Embracer Group.
The Embracer Group. Thank you.
What is this?
Weird.
If you want to know, just really fast, a really weird thing about THQ Nordic, it's basically all funded by a billionaire. Just by one guy, a lot of it is. They have not made
Just
money.
loves video games and apparently really loved THQ games in particular.
So when THQ went under,
Weird
he just
fetish.
bought all their IP.
A weird fetish.
Yeah, I know.
Billionaires.
This game, Agents of Mayhem came out, right? Clearly had a lot of money put into it.
Forgot that existed, honestly.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
did
sales
too.
wise, that's how it worked. And so this is, I mean, Saints Row 3 was a big, I think, was a big moment for that studio. 4 was successful, right? But I don't know if it did as well as 3. And then from there, I feel like it's been diminishing returns. And so
I think
there's
Saints
been
Row
nothing.
can come back. I think it can.
I think Saints Row could come back too. I agree with you.
There's a niche for GTA 5 sells literally every fucking month, like more than any other game, right?
Yeah.
But there's a niche of people who want that kind of game, and will want something else in that style. Sometimes you get bored of GTA, and
Like
Even
Spider-Man.
more over the top than GTA.
and something that's
Which
more
is what Saints
zany,
Row.
more cartoony, just more
Yeah.
wacky. Like how kind of like the PS2 GTAs were, right? I feel like that's the best comparison to Saints Row is like the PS2 era Grand Theft Auto games.
well, I mean,
Kind
I
of.
would think Crackdown is sort of in that space.
4 was like Crackdown. 4 was a weird one. It gave you superpowers. 3 was more down to earth. 3 was just like absolutely insanity, though. It was like
Yeah,
they
it's
turned it up to
definitely way
11.
more than that. Yeah, it's like these games are insane, right?
Yeah, yeah.
but
There's
I
like
do feel
dildos
like-
that you hit people with, and like guns that make people dance until they explode, like that kind of.
there was a
shit.
dubstep gun, which is a very 2011 thing to have in
Yeah.
your video game. But I think that the one little problem for the series is that Grand Theft Auto Online has encroached in a lot of that, right? Like there's a what's the word? A heist in Grand Theft Auto where like you're going to Tron World and you have Tron bikes and a bunch of other stuff, right? Like they have a bunch of things that are now like really weird and comedic, right? Like there's a whole thing with like Sasquatch and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Like, and so it's also like it's very hard to make sequels to comedies in movies, right? And I think that Saints Row has sort of a similar problem, which is like, all right, we made this very funny video game where the stakes are so high. Where do we escalate? Well, you're the president now, and you're in space, and all of humanity is dead, and you're a superhero. And I think that like there was.
I don't
sort
think
of,
they need to escalate.
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
that's the thing. I think they might need to go back down, right? Which sounds
Yeah.
weird to say. Like
Yeah.
Saints Row 3 is a step down, but it was. I think that there was. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the weird thing about the Saints Row game is it actually has like all 4 of them have like a continuous timeline
Mhm.
where your player character is the same character,
Yeah.
which is so weird to think about.
Also,
It's
Agents
like-
of Mayhem is in that same universe.
It
technically,
is.
and
It's the weirdest
it
thing.
is.
There's
Yeah.
I think they can scrap the storyline aspect of it. Just
I think
think
they could like start fresh, have some new gangs, maybe.
I think they really
Um,
overvalued how much we cared about Johnny Gat.
yeah. We like I don't know if anyone actually cares about the world of Saints Row. And it's just like you can start fresh.
Yeah.
And
Somebody out there
I never
cares.
cared about it, but I thought it was cool.
no,
that they
it's
stayed,
charming
like-
and cool, but like you don't need to like hold yourself to that.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
game that you can just start with a fresh, clean slate and then go from there, right?
Listen,
Yeah.
they could just go back in time. Just put it
They
in.
could.
Put it in the
I
game.
mean, one of the best DLCs I've played in forever is the Saints Save Christmas. Very good DLC. So I mean, they've done it all. They can
Yeah.
just do something. Just go back, do whatever. Just you don't have to keep the same shit though.
Yeah. And I think that, like, if they have funny ideas, if they have these things, then I think it'll be cool, right? But it is just one that's like, if I had to do it, I would be like sitting at the table being like, okay, this is going to be like a hard thing, but I think it's doable, right? And I think that they have taken enough time since Agents of Mayhem and since sort of the last thing that they put out to
Yeah,
have.
good a bit, So they clearly.
It's been a while
you know.
since 4, yeah.
Yeah, and they've hired up people because they had a bunch of layoffs after Agent of Mayhem, and I think they've hired a lot of those people back on, which is nice.
Okay, that's good.
And then the other 2 things from the what was it?
Embracer Group.
Embracer Group. There we go. Is another update to Dead Island 2, a game that I
Change
we've started.
developers again.
It is, I think, on its 5th developer now. Started in 2012, development of this video game.
Kind
So
of
we are
reminds
7
me of
years in.
like what Crackdown 3 went through.
But like even worse.
Yeah, I mean this was announced before Crackdown 3 was, I think.
Yeah.
So it's
This
been
game
even
also
fucking-
had Jack Black and Aaron Paul in it, right?
It's been so long since that first teaser trailer, and it's just like, where is this game? It's been in development hell for so long. And it's just weird because like Dead Island did super well last gen, right? Like super well. And then it's like you would think the sequel would be just doing gangbusters, especially when you see like Dying Light do so well, right?
Wait, so it has Aaron Paul in it from Need for Speed?
From the another connection. Oh my god.
Oh.
Well, it did in 2015 or so. I don't know.
I don't think I may not anymore.
God damn it.
Who knows with this game? It's been a while.
Yeah, because for a while Sumo Digital worked on it, and then for a while Jaeger Development Studios worked on it, then Deep Silver worked on it, and now it is another internal studio at Dambuster, which I don't know where that is. It's also part of Deep Silver again. And so it went from being a single player game to then being a multiplayer game to now having both. So I don't know what this video game is, but it is
why the hell would
it is
Why
a
the
good
heck would Dead
example
Island
of a
be a
sunk
single
cost
player?
fallacy, you know?
Yeah, it's not looking good. I don't know. Anytime a development is this muddled, you always gotta, think that the end product is not going to be very appealing.
Yeah, exactly. I really don't care about this game anymore. I don't care what it does. It's like, well, if it turns out to be good, fine.
Mhm.
I'll be happy. But I don't care. I'm not invested anymore at all. Like at first I was like, I played the first Dead Island when it came out. I was excited about it. I thought it was going to be like a cool mixture of like Left 4 Dead and like Borderlands, because it was like an RPG, but also like a first-person zombie killing game.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, seems really neat. The game was a mess. It was just riddled with bugs. Like quests wouldn't activate. Shit was fucked up. Glitches everywhere. The gameplay kind of sucked.
Mhm.
It was just not good. But I was like, all right, maybe the second one will be good.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, well, it's also good because a lot of the people that made the first game went on to do Dying Light, right? So that was why
I got it right.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the studio who made Dead Island made Dying Light, and it was just far more. I mean, it was better reviewed. I don't know if it sold better because Dead Island sold a shit ton when that came out, but
Well, I mean, from the MPD thing, it did.
okay, yeah, that's right. It's the best selling. Yeah. So I mean, like Dying Light has gone on to surpass Dead Island, right? And meanwhile, Dead Island is just kind of, and I don't think that, like, unlike a Borderlands thing, I don't know if Dead Island has the brand power to, like, come back in a couple years and be huge, right? Even after taking this long break. I don't know what Dead Island.
Because it wasn't really that good in the first one.
Yeah, because it's like, Borderlands is still, like, it's funny because with Borderlands, it's like, it came back and it's still kind of unique in what it does, Because there's been a lot of looter shooters to come out, but they all do the shared world shit that clearly no one likes. Because they've all flopped. And like, if years Borderlands comes back and it's a big deal, I don't think Dead Island can do that though. Because like, again, there's a better version of Dead Island out there. It's called Dying Light. And the sequel's coming out early next year,
Yeah.
There's a lot of zombie games with dead in the title.
Yeah.
Dead or dying. Dead
dying.
Yeah.
I can never forget the trailer for Dead Island, right? That was
that's infamous, right?
The now infamous, right? Just like the sad girl, and you're like the zombie. You're like, oh no, this game's gonna be emotional. And then it's like she's one dead body in the game, and then the rest of it's like island adventures with your bros, and you're like, you could do one or you could do the other, but you can't introduce it as this and then have it be something else. I think for a lot of people, they were like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
But
the Bulletstorm effect.
There's a lot of things with THQ Nordic that sort of had that same thing where it's like, oh, I mean, we could do a whole segment of just their games, but they have announced one of them. What will be important to their plotting their future course for their company is a return of Time Splitters.
Yeah,
baby, that's exciting.
Yeah, and they have the co-creator Steve Ellis back. That was and he's going to help plot the course of the franchise was the phrasing they used on that as well. That's all we know right now. But I think that there is a group of people, I don't know how many there are, but that are very still dedicated to the idea of Time Splitters and are like very interested in it, right? And so I think it's cool also that these original creators back.
That's great. I mean, it was made by Free Radical, which was a lot of people from Rare, from like GoldenEye and stuff, right? Yeah, who the fuck? THQ has a license for Time Splitters like since when?
Honestly,
They bought it
like,
last year.
Just think of any like mid 2000s game, early 2000s game, and like THQ Nordic probably has the license. To it.
They have Destroy All Humans.
Okay,
they have
but
Darksiders.
Future Perfect though was EA.
Because like they, well, yeah, they got the license from EA as far as I remember. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they acquired it last year. They bought
It
the
was
rights.
either
for it.
I think like EA's license to it had expired or something, and then like
Yeah.
and then they were able to pick it up because then like no one, which is the case for a lot of these IPs actually. Apparently, it's, like just no one has been owning these IPs, so it's just been like owned by like the bank or whatever.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's just, and they've just been picking up like they own Destroy All Humans. They own like fucking what's that? Not Age of Empire. I forget the name. Whatever. But there's just like a bunch of fucking games that they just all right. I guess they own this now. You know, I'm like
Yeah. The Darksiders 3 Last Them was the same thing.
Yeah, they're coming out with a new Darksiders game. I didn't know that. Darksiders like Genesis.
Yeah, it's like a Diablo-like. Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised I didn't hear anything about it.
Well, Brandon, you know what else they bought rights to?
Oh, what?
Second Sight.
Oh, baby! What the fuck?
They also own the rights to Kingdoms of Amalur, if you remember that game.
Kingdoms of Amalur. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, they own the rights to
Carmageddon,
Kingdoms of
like-
Amalur.
Carmageddon.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna make a new Second Sight. What the fuck?
I think
It's
when
like-
they bought Time Splitters, they're like, just throw it in there. Just give
Well,
them
the
Second
weird
Sight.
thing is, like, some of these have been, like, individual acquisitions, too, of just, like, yeah, we picked this up, and we picked this up, and that up, and this, and it's like...
What the fuck for?
And it's like, I don't, like,
The
they
Blob?
own U-Draw, you know? Like, it's just...
Which has the Ubisoft's U in it. That's the point of the branding.
Oh boy.
Deadly Creatures, the Wii game, like the stuff they have is wild.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, that game is dope.
And
Yeah.
then they recently got the Nickelodeon license back, like how THQ used to have it. It's like, yeah, I don't know. They're a weird company. They just
They're a
own
weird
a lot.
company.
And like between them and Deep Silver, which is also a part of them now, is like honestly, like they pretty much like every AA franchise, like it's like theirs. They've been picking up all these studios, all these IPs, all these It's like they just kind of just own everything that's not AAA.
It
or indie.
It does read like a company that, like, if you gave a guy who like browses Reddit a lot $1 billion, he would run. You know.
Yeah, people like Time Splitters, right?
Yeah.
People, you know.
Right,
Red Faction.
yeah.
I mean, I don't
Faction.
mind it. I'm happy these
I
games
love
have a
Time
chance.
Splitters.
Damn.
I mean, they
Shots
wouldn't
fired,
be.
Time Splitters.
I mean, those games wouldn't be being produced otherwise, right? So it's like cool. that that's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
But that, yeah. So we'll see how all those things go. But we do have a couple other pieces of news. This one is interesting because it's a couple weeks old, but I think it's a new frontier, my friends. You know, exclusive games. What about exclusive streamers for your exclusive games?
We haven't talked about this yet.
No, we never did. It's been
I was
full. It's
hoping we
been
never
full
did.
weeks. But you may have heard of Ninja. He plays Fortnite. He loves to drink Red Bull. And brother, he was on Twitch.tv for a long time. But now if you go to Twitch.tv/Ninja, you might see porn. That happened. But
What?
really briefly, I want to mention this.
It was me.
It was Brandon.
I know where I'm going tonight.
But instead, now, if you want to see the man with the blue hair or whatever color his hair is now, Mixer is the place to be for the low price of like $40 to $50 million for a, I think, 3-year contract. Ninja is now exclusively streaming on Microsoft's platform, Mixer. Which
This is so bananas. Holy shit. Who the fuck gets $40 million for 2 years of streaming? What the
I mean,
fuck?
to be fair, Ninja is like he has broken through to like you know, just random people who do not follow video games at all. They know who Ninja is.
at
I mean,
Thanksgiving last year, my uncle asked me, what is Ninja? He was in Time magazine. And I was like, well, he plays video games on the internet. And he's like, that sounds stupid. And I was like, well, I'm not going to change your mind on this.
I mean, he's right though. It
Yeah.
is stupid. This fucking guy, it's fucking $40 million.
I mean, like
What the fuck?
Ninja, because like the rise of Fortnite and Ninja are kind of like parallel, right? Like just together they rose.
Yeah.
into prominence, and like just like Fortnite has broken into the mainstream, so has its most prominent streamer, Ninja. And now apparently, you know, this is weird because like right after E3, we heard of how Microsoft had quietly laid off a bunch of people on the Mixer team. So I thought Mixer was on its way to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was being axed, but apparently they were using that money to fucking
by the boy
make a play at Ninja. And apparently it's big because like how many subscribers does he already have?
Well, they give you a free month, so we should probably check it in 3 months for a true indicator. But he's at 1 million as of now.
1,600,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Which, to be fair, though, that's a lot of people who probably never even went to Mixer.com.
Yes.
Or, like, it's like number one on the App Store in terms of, like, most downloaded apps now.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sorry, but Mixer's a dumb fucking name. It sounds like a blender. What the fuck?
I mean... I have...
To be fair, so is Ninja. Ninja is also the name for a blender. So...
the Ninja Mixer.
But I think it's so weird that when it comes to sites, right? Twitch, I think according to Amazon's filings, and they're fudging numbers all the time, right? But like, it's not turned a profit. I don't think, right?
What?
Twitch hasn't.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even
That's
know.
surprising.
That.
But the thing is, a lot of these sites don't turn a profit for a long time. YouTube didn't turn a profit for a long time for Google.
I don't think YouTube still makes money.
Yeah. But the thing that they're doing is
I don't know how these.
How could that be?
This is nothing makes sense. I don't understand like big money. You know?
Yeah.
Because you just hear of like like Twitter has never turned a profit in their lifespan. You know? It's like how are they operating? People are apparently still in bed dumping. They still expect to pay out at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I don't understand how any of this shit works.
Well, I think the thing is for Microsoft and Amazon, all these other companies, right? It's like they love data, and they get a lot of viewing data. They get a lot of information, right, that they can then use for advertisers on their other services. But then also they love you being in their ecosystem, right? Use Twitch, link to Amazon Prime, do this other stuff, right? And so like
yeah, then you make an Amazon account, or in this case, you make a Microsoft account.
Yeah,
you know, or you use that Microsoft account, and it's just like.
And so like they have 1 million more Microsoft accounts, and if that lowers one barrier of entry to someone buying an Xbox or whatever else, that's fine for them, especially when they're
or even
launching
just like, hey, you have a
later this
Microsoft
year.
account, like it's like you're just using Microsoft products, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know It's hard to wrap your brain around, though, you know? It's just like...
Yeah, so that's the thing when they're like, we're like, 40 million, how can you pay that much? And then you're just like, Microsoft as a company is like, what? Did we drop 40 million somewhere? I'm not, who cares, right?
We misplaced that.
Cushions,
That fucking change.
Yeah.
It'd be surprising.
I just want to say, Mixer, I hope you're listening because, you know, we stream when we do on twitch.tv right now. And, you know, we have no problem with jumping ship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we have talks, baby.
Yeah, you know, we don't even need 40 million. We'll take, like,
6.
10? Okay, 6.
We'll take 6.
We'll
$1 million per person.
each.
This is directly to you, Phil Spencer. We know you listen.
Yeah, so, you know, we're ready to negotiate on the exact contract. We can talk about it off mic, you know. Just give us a call, Phil.
Yeah. But until we are exclusively on Mixer, Ninja will be the one.
I mean, so I wonder if this actually is a big... I wonder if, like, it'll be successful to get people more on Mixer. Because I wonder if this also kind of has a ripple effect, right? If other streamers hear this news, right? And maybe also jump ship to Mixer. Not because, like, they're getting money for it, but it's like, oh, like, we can... You know, when people are not browsing Ninja, we can ride
the wave.
There, right?
And we have less competition.
Good point.
And there's, I mean, because Twitch has so much competition. It does. It really does. So it's like, maybe, I mean, like, if this is going to be a thing, like, I'm curious about the long-term effects, right? I wonder how many, like, can Mixer truly take off? But it'll be cool to see Twitch have an actual competitor, right? Because Twitch does not have one right now, in the slightest.
YouTube
right?
gaming.
They tried. They
Not
failed.
even close.
And it's just like, if they can get a proper competitor, maybe this will get Twitch to, like, you know, provide a better service, because they've been kind of resting on their laurels for a bit too, you know. So have that happen. By the way, I've streamed on Mixer before. The delay is like non-existent.
It's
There's
less
no
than a
delay
second
on Mixer. Like I was talking to Will while I was streaming, right? And the Discord lag was longer than the fucking stream lag. Like, he saw the words on the screen before I said them out loud. And
which is because with
was
Twitch
it like
it's 10
closed
seconds.
captioning or something? How did he see your words?
No subtitles
he
in the
saw
game.
the words
right?
of the he saw the words of in the game, the subtitles. Like, I would read the subtitle out, but then he saw it before I even fucking said anything.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's how is that even?
That's why.
What?
Especially with YouTube being like 20 seconds, it's crazy.
Because like we're so used to YouTube and Twitch delay, right?
Uh-huh.
And even Twitch delay is not that bad. But then when you compare it to Mixer, it's like Jesus Christ. We should play Jackbox on Mixer.
We should.
Or we could use really briefly. I'm going to use this to pivot. There's Discord announced a thing, which is neat, in the similar way of streaming. Because a stat that was really interesting is that essentially 90% of viewership on these streaming services comes from like 5% of streamers, right? And so there's a lot of streams that never break 10 views, right? And most of the time the audience that's watching is just your friends, right? Who know you.
True.
And so Discord has launched a thing now. It'll be rolling out in the next couple of weeks as in various servers. That now if you're streaming a game on your computer, if you're playing a game on your computer, you can click a little button and just stream it to anyone in that server that wants to look at it for up to, I think, 10 people.
Yeah.
And so, like, a thing like Jackbox suddenly is feasible because you can use that to say, hey, here's our small stream, it's private, and we can all be in call commenting on whoever is streaming, and you don't have to have a capture card or anything or make a Twitch account, which I think is
That's
neat.
pretty cool.
That's a cool
and like you don't
service.
have to like you don't have to make a separate group call. You don't have to like do this. It just makes things a lot easier. And it's cool for like you want to just stream to a couple friends, right? And it's like, hey, here, watch me.
Which the stats show is a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us. I mean,
Well, true. But I also two minor things before we wrap up the news. Well, however minor they are, we can decide. But we mentioned a couple weeks ago, right? About a couple months ago, probably now, about how video game loot boxes are becoming a thing in law, right? It's now entering the realm of government regulation, and apparently the game companies are starting to get a little spooked by that concept. And so Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, all seemingly at the same time, probably coordinated, have announced that they are going to require drop rates to be shown for loot boxes on games on their platforms, right? So if you're in Overwatch, this has been the case for a while in Overwatch, but in any game now, there's a little button you can press to say, hey man, you have a 0.5% chance of getting a legendary thing from this thing, right? You have a 20% chance of getting a common, whatever. And this is generally done to try to fight back against the image of it causing gambling addiction, right? Because for a lot of people, the slot machine aspect is that you don't know the odds. And so I think they're trying to push back against that. Whether it'll be enough is still to be determined, right? But I think that largely it is a better move for consumers to do that.
Yeah, hopefully they progress even further past that because honestly, it's not enough.
No,
Like,
there will probably
it's a
still
good
be in
first
trouble.
step. My problem with percentages though is a lot of people are illiterate when it comes to percentages.
Probabilities. Yeah.
And so like probability, yeah. And so like and just statistics in general. And then so it's like someone will see, I have a 1% chance of getting this, and they'll think, okay, if I do this 100 times, like I'm gonna get it. That's not how it works. You know, like that's not how probability works, and that's a separate aside. But it's just like, which is why I feel like it doesn't really help that much because then because even I've fallen into this fallacy because I'm someone who's dumped a lot of money into loot box type garbage.
Fire Emblem Heroes.
Fire Emblem Heroes.
I didn't want to name it, but okay.
Probably
It's a good
Pokemon
game.
Masters.
And I fall into this trap of like, all right, well, I have 4% chance. All right, well, I'm gonna get it at some point, right? And it's like, no, not necessarily.
Yeah. No.
It's me and Pokemon Go right now with Rayquaza rates. It's like a 1 in
baby.
40. It's like a 1 in 40 chance. I did like 28 last Saturday. I didn't get one, and my friend got one after like 2. It's like, what the fuck?
The moral of the story is don't play mobile games.
There might be it.
Maybe. Well, no, but this affects console games too. You know,
This is
Don't
this
play
is
console.
all console.
Don't play games.
don't play video games.
That's
only
the message of this
games-
podcast.
Yeah, you know, this has not been the first time we've said that.
I mean, you come here for discouragement, but you go to the game club for encouragement.
Look, we play the games. You just listen to them. We're playing the games so you don't have to. You know,
Exactly.
that's how I
There is a lot of game
Uh,
club games where we are
Nostalgia critics
discouraged, to be
can't
fair.
sue us.
What'd you say, Will?
There are a lot of game club games where we are the ones that are discouraged. But as you can see from where they are
We do.
ranking on the list,
We do it for the fans.
we do it. We do it so you don't have to.
That's what I'm saying. We play the games so you don't have to. It's like it's a win-win.
And then finally, we got a FCC filing. We mentioned this type of thing 2 weeks ago.
World exclusive.
World
God
exclusive.
damn it.
Uh,
FCC won't let me be.
It's true. Because also, thanks to that Nintendo, because we mentioned 2 weeks ago they had the FCC filing for the updated Switch. Guess what? It came out a week later. I'm not saying it's going to happen this time, but they did file for SNES-style controllers for the Nintendo Switch system. Which, if you recall,
What does
there
that
was
mean?
a similar
What? Those
type
are
of-
NES ones.
the NES
Yes.
pads when NES Online launched.
It's
Brandon.
interesting because last time they did the FTC filing after they had announced it, it's interesting that they've already done it, so they're ready. They're ready. Super Nintendo games, I'm telling you, 1 year anniversary. We're getting a September Direct, and they're gonna want people to resubscribe to NSO. How they're gonna do it? Super Nintendo.
I
games.
feel like we mentioned the code for the Super Nintendo games in February, and we are now in August.
Ah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it was a long time
look. This is like, I'm not even gonna applaud Nintendo for this because this should have been there like fucking months ago.
Fuck yeah.
You know, like fuck off, Nintendo.
Well, we are
But-
truly at the bottom of the barrel for the NES games.
This month's games were so every month since June. It's been like June, July, August, where I'm like, it can't get worse than this, right? And it has progressively gotten worse every fucking month. I don't even remember what the games are called. I've never heard of them in my life, and I'm someone who considers myself like an NES connoisseur, you know.
Ew.
And like, I've not heard of these fucking games.
The ooh really got me.
Why?
Yeah.
Why have we not got Star Tropics too?
I don't know. I play a lot
What
of
is
shit
Star
NES
Tropics
games.
too?
So we got Kung Fu Heroes and Vice Project Doom. You know what I mean?
Vice Project Doom, everyone's favorite game. We
It's
love
just like,
Vice
okay,
Project
sure, it's
Doom.
the first time you can play it since '91. Maybe we haven't been able to play that because it's a shitty ass game. Okay. Just like,
Yeah, I mean that's the secret, right? Is like there's a lot of these retro consoles where like the game list of games that like most people are gonna want to play stops at like 20 or 25, right?
And I'm just like, I've seen the argument of, oh, well, it's not Nintendo's fault because they gotta get the third parties. Blah, 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 blah. If we could just play like Nintendo's back catalog of all these systems, people would be fucking just so happy. You know, like all I want to do is play Super Metroid on this damn thing. You know, I can't play Super Metroid on my Switch. Maybe soon, but then it's like you still have a bunch of N64 games that were who knows when the fuck we're getting that. Game
Never.
Boy, Game Boy Advance, DS, GameCube. When the fuck are we getting like you have a Nintendo has the best back catalog in the world. That is undeniable. And they just don't use it, and I hate them. I hate them so much.
Nintendo also sponsor us, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it takes so long, but whatever. One final thing about this. Do you remember a couple months ago there was talks about there being a premium Switch Online service?
I do recall, yes.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
at all.
I remember that.
Are we about to find out that the premium Switch Online service?
Oh
is
my
good
god, if I have to
SNES
pay
games?
$10 extra for Super Nintendo games, and it's like just Super Nintendo games, like I'm gonna be so upset. I will pay for it, but I'm gonna be so
I really thought you were gonna say I'm gonna be so happy.
No, like that's the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum. I will pay like $10-20 more if we get all the systems I named. But like if
Hell
we're gonna
yeah.
start doing like fucking $10 per system, I'm gonna scream.
Well, Switch Online right now for a year is only like $20, right?
It's only
So-
$20,
yeah.
sure. I will pay $25 if you add Super Nintendo games.
That's fair, I guess.
What a brave soul you are. What's the Brandon? Help me. What's the Simpsons thing? Where where Homer's talking to Moe and he's like, "You've just lost yourself a customer." And he's like, "Sorry,
yeah.
what?" And everyone's just
Yeah.
giving him so much money that he can't even hear him yell that he's
Yeah.
lost a customer.
I mean, it doesn't
it's
matter.
like-
Anyone who says I'm gonna boycott NSO, it doesn't matter because they're raking in so many subscriptions. People just want to play fucking Smash Brothers. and Mario Kart Online. All right, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
That's the other thing. The 3 things we want to tell you on this podcast: 1, don't play video games. 2, you have no power as a consumer. 3, nothing matters. That's the lesson.
Life philosophy.
Yeah. But you know what? We have to keep going anyways because that is what we do on this mortal coil. And you know what that as we will continue to keep doing, we will turn our eyes towards the list.
The list.
Follow along in the paste bin below. Now, the list has had a very exciting week in the last 7 days than what you've missed.
Exciting is an understatement.
We had 2 Game Club games. We had a re-rank. If you want to know that re-rank, it is still on our Twitch page. You can find Ranker Slam.
Is it on our YouTube page yet?
It will be. Yeah,
it will be.
It will be on our YouTube page. So
by this point, yeah, it's there.
Check us out at YouTube. Just search Jump Up Supercast on YouTube. Not Jump Up Superstar, Jump Up Supercast.
Yeah. And we are going to be doing the re-ranks live from now on. So, you know, we will do the next one in November. So follow us on twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast so you know when we go live with that stuff. But a lot of stuff moved around. We're not going to tell you what all it was. Because we don't want to spoil it, even though if you look
at
the
go to YouTube to find out.
Yeah.
Maybe
you'll find us on Mixer next if they pay us. You know?
Yeah, it's possible instead of Twitch, we may be streaming our next re-rank on Mixer. Just
who knows?
There'll be less of a delay for when you comment at how stupid we are, and for us to.
That's true. That's true.
But you know, re-ranks always bring with them stress, right? You know, people. We have it happens with the list oftentimes. So I'm adding to the list this week. I want to bring a jolly game. Right? A game I don't know if it's possible to be mad at, but I'm sure there's a way. I want to rank Kirby's Epic Yarn for the Nintendo Wii.
Whoa, this is a jolly game.
That's a game you can't be mad at.
Lightens my mood.
Yeah.
It's funny because when this came out, I was mad. But
you were like, how dare they? But this is a game you say, yeah, I've heard of Kirby before. He's in the Smash Brothers. He's a cute little pink puffball. He sucks people up. And you're right, except for in this video game where Kirby says, I don't need that. I've been turned into yarn by the evil Yin Yarn with a magic sock. And now everything in the world is made of crafting materials, primarily yarn as the name would imply. And Kirby himself is now see-through, so he can't swallow things. So now he has a little whip, a little yarn whip that he uses to hit enemies, pull them in. He can throw them, do various other things. And he can also turn himself into these giant yarn sort of transformations, right? One's a big tank, one's like a dolphin. One's
one's a missile.
Yeah.
Yeah, a drill maybe at one point.
There's one that's a train, I think, but either way,
I'm pretty sure there's one where you like on a surfboard or something like that.
Yeah, surfboard one's cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he has a little beak, but it's very
and a UFO one. Sorry,
no.
Oh yeah,
that's a throwback. But it's a game that was worked by Goodfeel, so normally this is one of the rare Kirby games where there is someone else besides just Hal working on it. And it shows. It's not like a lot of other Kirby games. But the one thing that it does carry is, as we sort of mentioned, the charm is off the charts, right? More than anything else, that's, I think, the game's strongest asset.
This is a gorgeous art style. One that I wish we could see in HD. I mean, I guess we can in Dolphin. But, like, it's beautiful. This game is just absolutely, like, just a delight to look at, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The music's also very charming.
And I think, for me, the graphics go beyond just, like, looking great, but, like, the details in this game, like, just from an aesthetic standpoint, right? Of just how everything is crafted from yarn, but, like, they do it in really creative, inventive ways that also lend into how the game plays also, right? And I think that's cool. It's cool to, like, use that aesthetic to, like, really just enhance, like, all aspects of the game, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think that because the game is very, I think, in general, like a lot of other Kirby games, it's very easy and it's very sort of mechanically simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot die in this game.
You cannot die. No. You will just get a bad rank, which for me was even worse. I would always restart if I died anyways.
Yeah.
But the fact that the environments are just when you ever get to see something new, you're like, oh, that's enough of a reward, right, for me. You know, even if I'm not like being mechanically challenged, whatever's around the corner, I'm interested in seeing, and going a little nooks and crannies.
Right,
yeah.
And there was also like a lot of collectibles in every level, and you can use them to like decorate your rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah. One of the things I liked was you mentioned you can't die, and there's just a ranking. And that's where like the challenge in the game would come to play, where if you wanted to actually like the game, you could beat it with your eyes closed, right? So easy. But if you really wanted to, 100% the game, basically the ranking was just based on how many beads you got, and if you got hit, you lose beads. So you just had to basically to get the best ranking, go through the levels without being hit.
Cannot get hit.
Yeah, which provided a challenge, for more hardcore players that wanted an actual challenge from this game. It was pretty good.
I feel like Nintendo was really big about that in the Wii era specifically, right? The base game is easy, but if you want 100% it, you're gonna need to actually like pay attention.
Yeah.
I think this game, it's interesting because it strikes like the craziest you literally cannot die, right? But the fact that it goes from that extreme to you cannot get hit.
Yeah. That in some ways I think might be a little bit of a problem, right? Because I think that it would be nice if there's a little bit of a middle spot for that. But
well, also you don't know. The 3DS port came along, added a hard mode, but they completely ruined the game with the hard mode actually. Because if you had just added a health bar, I think it would have done a lot for the game. In terms of balancing the difficulty to me, but they made it so that they remixed the game a little bit to add these weird power ups that completely ruin the game.
Nice.
But also in the hard mode on 3DS, sometimes this little annoying devil creature will come at you, and it changes the music into this awful theme, and it won't leave until he leaves. And that's
So when we rank on the list, we say the best version. I'm gonna say
we say the best version, and I'm gonna go ahead and say the Wii version is the best version of the game.
I was gonna mention that too because I heard bad things. About
the 3DS version is actively worse in my opinion,
and also it looks worse.
And it looks worse. It's at half the frame, half the resolution.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out the bosses. The bosses are pretty cool in this game. I like the dragon, and I like fighting Meta Knight. Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah. It was especially cool, like you said, with Meta Knight with DDD to see these familiar characters recontextualized.
Yeah, in yarn form.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And I want to mention that they do a lot in terms of gameplay, like switching it up, with all the different forms and just different gameplay mechanics that keep it fresh throughout the game. So
that's what I like about Kirby, and I think that's what most people like, is that he's so adaptable. He's a lot like Mario in that way. He's so adaptable, you can do almost anything. But with Kirby, it's he changes his whole body or something changes about him.
We've seen really Mario change his body in Mario Pinball Land. It was a disaster.
Oh God! Fucking don't.
Meanwhile, Kirby, he pulls it off. He does.
Hell yeah.
He had a pinball game that was pretty alright.
Well, where do you want to put Kirby's Epic Yarn on the list?
This is when I walked in, I didn't know where I wanted to rank it, right? But I sort of where I'm looking at it right now is I think number 54. So below Alundra, but above Golden Sun.
That's exactly the spot I was thinking of. I swear to God, that is. I was looking at the list, and that was the exact spot that popped up to me.
That's pretty fair. I just wanted to mention this game. Damn, I kind of missed my part to say this, but I was feeling in a rut in February when I was playing games, and I played this game after Path of Radiance, and it really it brightened my mood. So yes, it's a good.
Oh, you played it this year?
Yeah.
Wow,
oh, cool. Yeah,
that's really neat. Actually, I didn't know that. So
yeah, I'm agreed. Yeah, that's a good spot for it.
Brandon?
Okay.
We already have 3, but last
words. I think, I can't really argue against that. It's a pretty respectable spot on the list, and this game it's a solid game. It's not incredible by it's not top of the standard. It's not even the best Kirby games. But it's just so fucking solid, and you can't play this game in it's hard to have bad things to say about it. it doesn't do anything like really new or inventive for the genre, but it's also just such a solid, fun time.
Mhm.
It's so charming. It's so charming.
And just
it's
chock full of charm. Yeah.
It's really anybody's game, you know. Your little brother, your little sister, your mom, anybody can play this game. You know, unless you're an actual douchebag and you don't like this game,
the edgy teenagers probably do not respect this game, but
well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're listening to this game, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't like this game, fuck you. That's all I got.
I do. Speaking of uncle stories, I do remember when I got this game, 2009, right? I think it was. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I got it for the Nintendo Wii on Christmas. I brought my Wii to my grandma's house because all my family comes together, and they always like to play Guitar Hero and Rock Band. So I brought my Wii, but there was a little bit where I just played Kirby, and I remember my uncle who was like 45, and I was like 12 or 11, I forget how old I was. Maybe I was like 13. But I was playing this like little Kirby game where I was just like running on like a little ball, and just like flowers were sprouting, and Kirby's like, yay! And it's the most bright, colorful nonsense you've ever seen in your entire life. And it was just sort of like, what are you doing at 14? Like, shouldn't you be thinking about like girls? like what is this? But then he played it for a little bit. I played with his son, and he was like, this game's actually cool, which was nice. So he changed his mind on it.
See?
Yeah.
Just gotta give it a chance.
And now he wants to put it at number 1.
Now, my uncle's number 1 game, Kirby's Epic Yarn. But for us, I think it will stay at 54 on the list. Very respectable spot, though. Right above again, you might notice, wait a minute, what is Alundra doing above Golden Sun, by the way? Should have watched the re-rank before you got here, dummy.
Damn.
But that is surrounding it, of course. We do have number 52, Stardew Valley. Wait, what's that doing there? 53, like I said, Alundra 54, now Kirby's Epic Yarn 55, Golden Sun 56, Chibi Robo.
By the way, we should have mentioned this at the beginning, but you could follow along in the paste bin below.
I did say that.
He said it.
Oh, he did? Oh, I didn't know that.
Me and Will got that shit unlocked.
Oh, okay.
Programmed
in second nature.
But that is, I see no one was mad about that ranking, so I don't know who to give the final phrase to. Brandon, why not? No, you did it last week because you did the Scott Steiner promo.
You're right, I did.
Ills, right. You got it. He sounds mad. Moose, you get it.
There you go.
I wanted it from the beginning.
I know. But that was why I didn't want to give it to you. But while you think on that, we have a few plugs. We've already done a couple along the way. But if you enjoyed this podcast enough to get here, hopefully you would like to stick around. Either go back and listen to old episodes or make sure to find the new ones when they go live. You can make sure you do that by following us on your podcast service of choice or on SoundCloud, as well as on YouTube where we have our uploads go live, as well as the re-rank, as we said. If you want to make sure, sometimes all of those services can mess up. Twitter is in a good backup spot. You can follow us at twitter.com/Up Supercast, where we will tweet whenever we go live. Saf will sometimes hijack it to post his thoughts. And also the Instagram, where we also are at instagram.com/JumpUpSupercast, where Brandon will sometimes make his own images and his memes. But every Monday we do this podcast, as you've just heard. Every other Thursday we do the game club. Upcoming is Terranigma, a game that I think is a very good choice. Noah was the one that selected it. Excited to talk about that video game. That'll be next Thursday. But until then, we hope you all enjoyed. And Moose, your final phrase.
You know, sometimes it unnerves me, the fact that, like, Saf has so much control over the podcast, you know? It's just, like, I think about, like, how he's editing the podcast, how he's posting on our social media, how, you know, he does this and that. And I never check any of these things. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's posting. For all I know, like, what if when he's editing, he's just, like, adding in his own, like, 30-minute monologues? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what happens when Saf does these things. I don't even know if this part is going to make it to the podcast, because Saf is editing this, and he could cut this out, you know? I feel wary. I'm not going to lie. I have concerns, and I think that someone should do something.
Muzzy, is that how you really feel?
I don't know. I'm pretty awful and stupid.
Yeah, I figured you'd say something like that. Or maybe I just had control wrong.